Samadhisthasya Keshava
Samadhisthasya Keshava
Samadhisthasya
Keshava
Sthitadi Kim Prabhashita
Stitadhi Kim
Stitati Kim
Prabhasheta
Prabhasheta
Kim Asita Vrajeta Kim
Kimasita Vrajeta Kim.
Kim
The
Ida Vrajeta
translation.
Kim.
O Krishna, what are the symptoms? Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak and what is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? Uh, According to Srila Prabhupada, uh, every person has his own symptoms. So if Prabhupada says that like a rich man has his own symptoms, he'll be every time running after money and thinking about getting rich. Uh, a person who is in sickness will be showing his symptoms, like he'll be distressed and he'll be complaining about what body parts is paining and everything. In the similar way, a person in Krishna consciousness will be giving the same symptoms. uh, he'll always be speaking about the Lord. The way whatever he will be doing, he'll be appreciating every little thing in his life. He'll be thinking and thanking Krishna for the same. So, and this will be the like this is like a very clear difference between a person in Krishna consciousness and the other people who will be displaying other symptoms, which is not and we can clearly make out that which is more beneficial and which we should be following. uh, Srila Prabhupada also mentions that the way a Krishna conscious person will be speaking will be very different as well. The tone will be different than what other people will be speaking. He'll be very polite and all that stuff. Like he'll be appreciating everyone and will be very humble and down to earth. And this is clearly also seen when we actually visit the temple. We notice this difference. Like most people who are Krishna conscious devotees in the temple will be very welcoming and uh, will be talking like whatever is the truth. They'll not be trying to manipulate things, and this is what I observed in the temple as well. And the ones who have come across who've been like Krishna conscious and they've been in this consciousness, there's a clear difference to be seen. So I think this is what the paragraph explains. Thank you.
That was very nicely said. Thank you. Would anybody like to add to this? Okay. So, we turn our microphones off, please? So, this particular verse, sorry. I'll just share my screen. So, verse 54, Arjuna Uvacha, Stita Pragyasya Ka Bhasha. So, already Arjuna has now coined a new name, Stita Pragya. Okay, a term to talk about a person that Krishna has been describing earlier. Krishna has been saying, remember that you should be focused. Your mind should not run here or there. It should not be going after anything with material desires. It should not be going after dualities. It should not get shaken by dualities. Your mind should be firm, right? Now, for a mind to be firm, the intelligence has to be firm. So here, Arjuna has picked up on that. And he is saying, Stita pragya. Pragya means intelligence. Pragya actually means utilization of that intelligence. So stitha means firm. It's in one spot. Okay. So one whose intelligence is fixed. Now fixed in what? Not fixed in material things, but fixed on Krishna. Because everything that we are doing, we said we have to do for Krishna. Right? So stitha pragyasya ka bhasha. What is his language? Huh? Samadhistasya Keshava, one who is situated in samadhi. Samadhi means whose mind, dhi, intelligence, is not vichalit. Vichalit means it's not agitated. It is sama. It is equal at all times. It's the same at all times. Okay? Samadhi. So one who is situated in samadhi, one who is in trance, what is his language? Stitadhi kim prabhasheta. What is his style of speaking? Kim asita. How does he sit? Asan, asita. So the word asan, we all know the word asan. Asan means seat. So asita is derived from that. Okay. How does he sit? Vrajeta kim. How does he walk? Now here, the first thing we should understand is this is the first time Arjuna has asked a question, right? An intelligent question, not one where he's going on about how things are so bad and how he can't do anything. This is the first time his mind has calmed down and this intelligence has actually woken up. So this particular verse is like a watershed moment. You know, this is where things turn towards the positive. So all that Krishna has said so far, finally, because till now, when Krishna said something, Arjuna said, no, but my mind is not, I can't do this. How can I kill? How can I do this? How can I do that? All he kept doing was resisting. No, 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 I can't. Now all of a sudden he goes, oh, but Krishna, you said this. So such a person, what is his behavior? He's not even denying that such a person can exist. There is no resistance at all. Now there is 100% interest. So all of a sudden now you see that Arjuna has changed. The change is coming in. Okay. So he says the first question is Stita Pragyasya ka bhasha. Now bhasha there is a definition. The definition is the means by which the characteristics of an object are stated is known as bhasha, language. Okay. So what does that mean? So suppose I have to describe something. I can only use language to describe it. Correct? Otherwise, what do we end up with? We end up with damsharads. You know, the game that we play, where we come up and say, okay, I am thinking of a movie, 3 words, first word. Remember? So we are not saying anything, we're just playing. But if I want to describe something to you, I use my words. So bhasha describes a person, describes the characteristics of a person. So Stita Pragyasya ka bhasha. What kind of language does he use? Now, when I talk, when I describe somebody, it also shows what is my mental character, what is my character. Because what I am is what I will see in others, correct? If I am a thief, when somebody comes in front of me, I'm looking going, chor hai, zarur chori karega. Somehow or the other, he's going to do something. Because That is all that is what I am open to seeing. So Arjuna's question is, if he is a Sthita Pragya, what is his bhasha like? Which means, what is his character? What is the language he uses to describe everything? Which means, how is he to be described? Does that make sense? Yeah. So Sthita Pragyasya ka bhasha. It doesn't mean does he speak English, French? No. It is what is the quality of his speech. And like Prabhuji said, people who are in Krishna consciousness are kind, they're gentle, they are always looking to help others. That is how they talk. Yeah? So Sthita Pragyasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava stitidhi kim prabhasheta. What does he talk about? So one is how he talks. The second is what does he talk about? And kim asita, how does he sit? Now, how does he sit does not just mean how does he sit. What is his lifestyle like? Is he always, when he's around, is he always in an agitated way? Does he, or is he someone who's, generally laughing and joking and, just useless stuff, spouting useless stuff? What does he do? What is he when he's just hanging around the place? Okay, how is his behavior? And vrajeta kim, how does he move around? Okay, so like Prabhuji pointed out, Prabhupada says the most important, and I really like this, most important is how the man in Krishna consciousness speaks. For speech is the most important quality of any man. It is said that a fool is undiscovered as long as he does not speak. And certainly a well-dressed fool cannot be identified unless he speaks. But as soon as he speaks, he reveals himself at once. So when somebody opens their mouth, you immediately come to know, ये कहाँ से आ रहा है? What is moving him? What are his motivations? The moment somebody opens their mouth, that is why they say, there's a saying, it's better to keep your mouth shut and be thought a fool than to open it and prove it. Yeah? It's better you keep your mouth shut, let everybody think you're a fool, rather than opening it and then proving to everybody that you are a fool. So that's exactly what Prabhupada says here. And then he says the immediate symptom of a Krishna conscious man is that he speaks only of Krishna and of matters relating to him. So when we look at the Chatushloki, remember we were talking about the Chatushloki? So have you been reading the 4 verses by any chance? Yeah. So in that, what is the second verse? 10.9. Do you remember? Yes.
इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भाव समन्वितः.
Yeah. Next one. Yes.
मच्चित्ता मद्गता प्राणबोधयत् परस्परं कथयन्तश्च तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च.
Yes. And what is the translation? Do you remember? The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another about me. Yeah? just going to mute you, Mom. So, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another about me. Yeah. So, what does a Krishna conscious person do? He's forever talking about Krishna. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. He's always thinking about Krishna. So nothing else can come out. Right? What will come out here is what is here. So the thoughts are fully, the thoughts of my pure devotees are fully, they dwell in me and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always talking about me, conversing about me, and enlightening one another about me. Yeah. So the immediate symptom of a Krishna conscious man is that he speaks only about Krishna. Yeah. And of matters relating to him. So this verse is actually just an introduction to the next section. So I'm just going to share another screen here. So we are now in, just a minute, please. So we are now in the final section of the second chapter. So in the second chapter, we are going from verse 54 to 72. So 54 is all the questions. Okay, what are his symptoms? How does he speak? How does he sit? How does he walk? 55 answers what are his symptoms. 56 and 57 answer how does he speak. 58 to 63, how does he sit? 61 to 67, how does he walk? So how does he speak means, so what are his symptoms? How does he reveal his position? How does he speak? How are his mentality and words affected by, whether are they affected by affection, equanimity, anger, by what others are saying, what others are doing? How does it affect him? How does he sit? What is his mentality when everything is restrained? His senses are completely restrained. How does he sit? Sthita pragya, remember? So how does he sit? What is his focus on? If he's not focusing on the senses, what is he focusing on? Because see, we can say, Krishna keeps saying, don't get attached, don't get attached. Right? And then what does he say? Do everything for me. He gives us a way out. Why? Because the very fact that we are sentient, conscious beings, the Atma, is consciousness. Consciousness means it looks around and it's always seeing things. So when it's always seeing things, automatically the love and the hate, the acceptance and the rejection starts. But because that's an automatic process, Krishna says, yes, it's automatic. So now I want you to do everything for me. If you love something, love it for me. If you hate something, hate it for me. Meaning what? If I say I love ice cream, oh, that means Krishna loves ice cream. I must first go give it to him. Yeah. I hate people who are rude. No. It's not I hate people who are rude. It is the fact that when people are rude, they are being unkind to other living entities. They are making other children of Krishna unhappy. Therefore, I do not hate the person. Always remember one thing. It's never about hating the person. Isn't there a saying, don't hate the person, hate the crime? Okay, so it's not about hating. Then it's about saying, okay, I don't quite like that. So how do I then switch? How do I then take my consciousness and make it Krishna conscious? So everything here, how does he sit? When your senses are being restrained, what is the focus going on? How does he walk? Which means, what is he actually engaging his senses? Okay. So this is the little chart which gives us a summary of this whole section. And in effect, there really isn't much else other than, verse 62, 63, which is the anger management one, where there is, which kind of forms a subsection within this section. All the rest of it is covered by Srila Prabhupada so beautifully in his purports. So this is just a summary. And when we come back to yes, Mataji.
Just a question. In your
Yeah.
summary, why does it say fight being fixed in Krishna consciousness? Sthita Pratnya, the title?
Yeah, so that is, so what is the message to Arjuna?
Yeah, even I was actually wondering that they're on the battlefield, actually.
Exactly.
But they're talking about a transcendental person. So it's
Exactly.
actually, if you go to see, there is, it's such a huge
Yes.
difference.
Yes.
But yeah,
So
just
when
trying to see
yeah,
how it arrived there.
so that's the whole thing. So Arjuna is a warrior. So when we are sitting and when he is also asking questions about his Sthita Pragya, he's not talking in terms of a yogi who's sitting in the forest and doing meditation. He, because again, if that is the scenario, then this whole thing just doesn't apply to us. Then it's just an exercise in academics for us as well. Because none of us is going to go sit in the forest and meditate. All of us are in this material world, engaging with this material world, and therefore, every action that we are doing, we need to continue doing it. All we are changing is our mentality. All we are changing is the consciousness with which we do that activity. So the same thing goes for Arjuna. So be a sthita pragya. Oh, so that means I have to go away into the forest and do meditation, Krishna. Krishna says, na, 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 na. Come back. You're a warrior, fight. That's why he says, na, tasmat yuddhasva. What is that verse? 32, wasn't it? I forget the...
Yadrichaya.
No. Tasmat. I have a terrible memory, sorry. Krishna says, okay, we'll come to that in a minute. I need to open up another version of the Bhagavad Gita because...
Is it tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam situm arhasi?
No. Where he's saying, therefore fight. Which is that verse? There you are, 18. Antavanta ime deha nityasyukta sharirinaha anashino pramayasya tasmad yuddhasva bharata. Therefore fight. Okay. So the first instance of where he says fight is where he's giving him the knowledge of the soul. Right? And then after that, he says in 31, he says, Swadharmamapi chavekshya navikampitum arhasi dharmyadhi yuddhat shreyonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. You're a kshatriya. For you, beyond fighting, there is nothing else. If you don't fight, then people will laugh at you. And then after that, he says, where is that?
I think it's 33.
Yes, Ata Chetmamimam Dharmyam. Yes, even 32 there is, the call to fight. 33 also, it's, about if you do not fight. And then again 37. This is where he actually completely orders him. He says, Hato va prasthasi swargam jitva va bhokshase mahim tasmaduttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nischayah. So get up and fight. It's a call to action. So throughout, there is no place where Krishna is saying, oh, it's okay, Arjuna, don't worry. Even I'm tired of fighting, let's both go. There's nothing. Your duty is to fight. Fight. Krishna could well say, oh, you know what, even I'm tired because I've also tried so much to stop this fight from happening. He's listening to me. Forget it, Arjuna, let's also go. The whole thing is about fight. Do your duty. Yeah. So, yeah. So where are we? So that was verse 54. So who are you ready with 55, Mataji? Are you okay to do it today? Yeah? Okay. Then let's go ahead and do 55 today.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan
Prajhati Yada Kaman
Prajahati Yada Kaman
Sarvan Parthamanogatan
Sarvan Parthamanogatan
Atmanyev Ivatmana Tushtaha
Atmanyevatmana Tushtaha
Stita Prajna Satadochyate.
Stita Prajnastadochate Stita Prajnastadochate
Stita Prajnastadochate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in the pure transcendental consciousness. So here, the Krishna says that the person who is fully in Krishna consciousness and with the devotionals or in devotional service has a quality of great sages, but the one who is not in Krishna consciousness will always refuge in his own material desire. And Krishna says that one has to give up all the sense gratification, but it's difficult to stop that. But one who engages in devotional service into Lord Krishna, it can he can try to stop those material desires, the sense gratification. So therefore, one has to engage in the Krishna consciousness without any hesitation. And here it also, the Krishna also says that highly developed souls always remain satisfied by themselves, and they have no sense of desire. So, yes, Krishna don't want us to see us suffering. So he doesn't say that don't have children, don't have a good family, have a good job, have a good salary, have a good house. But having all these things keep me in center. Keep engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So, so Krishna says, have everything what you want to, but make sure you keep me in center. So, the one who is Krishna consciousness always remains happy in the natural position of eternally serving the Supreme Lord. That's all, Mataji.
Very nice, very nice. Very nice. Would anybody like to add to that? Okay. So here, this particular verse, Krishna is, this is like an introduction. So Arjuna has asked 4 questions. Sthitapragyasya ka bhasha? Samadhistasya Keshava. Sthitapragya kim Sthitapragyasya ka bhasha? Samadhistasya Keshava. Sthitadhi kim prabhasheta? Kim asita? Vrajeta kim? So 4 questions he's asked. Now this is Krishna giving us a general response. He's not addressing each question in turn. That he will start doing from the next verse. So verse 55 gives you, I'll just share my screen. So verse 55 just gives us the general characteristics of a sthita pragya. Okay. So here, in the purport, Prabhupada says the Bhagavatam affirms that any person who's fully in Krishna consciousness or devotional service of the Lord has all the good qualities of great sages. Whereas a person who is not so transcendentally situated has no good qualifications because he's sure to be taking refuge in his own mental concoctions. Okay, so the specific verse there, which Prabhupada is actually quoting, is this one. It's in the 5th canto, 8th chapter, verse 12. And it goes, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagvatya kinchana sarver gunaistatra samasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena sati dhavato bahihi. So, yasya asti bhakti bhagavati akinchana. So one who has bhakti in the Lord, and it is akinchana. Okay, it's focused on the Lord. Okay, sarve gunaihi tatra samasate suraha. Sura means devata. The opposite of sura is asura, demon. So you have the demons and the devatas. So all the guna, sarvaihi gunaihi, of whom? Of the devatas. All the gunas, all the good qualities of the devatas, tatra samasate, they all come and sit in that person. Which person? Yasya bhaktihi bhagavati asti. Akinchana bhakti asti. One whose akinchana bhakti is there for Lord Shri Krishna. Okay? In that person, all the good qualities of the devatas come and reside. Okay? Harav abhaktasya. But for one who is not a bhakta, it says, kutaha mahadgunaha. Where is there any good quality going to come from? Kutaha means from where? कहां से आएगा कुछ भी अच्छे गुण ऐसे व्यक्ति के अंदर? Where will any such good quality come? Why? Manorathena asati dhavato bhayihi. Translated in Hindi, I'll give you. मन के रथ में बैठकर वो इधर उधर बाहर भागते रहता है. Meaning what? That person is not focused on the Lord. His mind is focused on everything outside. Everything outside him. So sitting on that chariot of the mind, he is just running here and running there. Idhar, udhar, idhar, udhar, idhar, udhar. He cannot be focused on anything. So the whole idea is if we don't focus on the Lord, see, the mind needs to have a focus. If it is not focused on the Lord, then it is focused on something material because the Lord is spiritual. So if it is not focused on the spiritual, it is going to be focused on the material. If it is focused on the material, then it's going to be running around here, there, everywhere. Why? Because it's at the end of the day, the mind is an instrument of the soul. The soul is using the mind to get what it wants. And what does the soul want? What does the soul want?
No rebirth.
Why?
Because again suffering.
Okay. But what does the soul actually want?
Rest in peace.
Happiness.
Happiness. Anandamayo bhyasat. The soul, which is a part of the Lord, is just like the Lord. The Lord is Anandamayo bhyasat. Means he's always happy and seeking happiness. So the soul, being a parcel of the Lord, a small part and parcel of the Lord, is also always seeking out bliss. That is why we are in this material world, because we thought we would be happy doing this. That is why we are unable to get out of this material world, because we think we are happy doing this. See, we would not do anything unless we thought it's going to give us happiness, correct? Does anybody here willingly go and jam their finger in the door? Why not? If I said, I'll give you $1 million, will you do it? Yeah. If I said, I'll give you 10 million.
Sanchita is saying this.
Yes, I know. Why not? Why? Because the whole idea is that I will do it now, I'll suffer a little, and then in future I'll be happy. Because that money, I'll be happy. Why am I willing to go through that pain now? I'm looking for future happiness. I'm always looking for happiness. But if I told you, just go slam your finger in the door, nobody in their right mind is going to do that. So everything we do is geared towards happiness. And when we say we, that is the soul. The soul wants to be happy. Now, due to ignorance, it doesn't know that it has to go towards the Lord. It thinks if I go out and look in the material world, I'll be happy, which is why we are stuck here in this stage. So all this that we are learning is that knowledge, which will then be recognized by the soul as, aha, that is true knowledge. I know because it resonates with me. Have you ever felt that when you read through the Bhagavad Gita, some particular thing will go, yes, that makes so much sense. Oh my God, yes, that is wonderful. I knew that. Even though you've never heard it, you've never seen it before, you instinctively get that feeling, I knew that. Where is that coming from? That I knew that. That is the soul. The soul is Sat Chit Ananda. It is eternal, it is full of knowledge, and it is full of bliss, but it is covered by ignorance. And because it's covered by ignorance, it forgets. So through all this process, we are cleaning it. Cheto darpana marjanam. So this is from the Shikshashtakam by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't write anything at all. He just spoke 8 verses as his shiksha. Otherwise, of course, he gave a lot of instructions which were then noted down by his disciples. But composition wise, although he was such a great Sanskrit Pandit, he only composed the Sikshashtakam. So the first was Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhamaha Davagni Nirvapanam Shayakairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritaswadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. What is he saying? Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glories to Shri Krishna's Sankirtana. What does it do? Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Says the mind is like a mirror. But when we go and see in the mirror, what are we supposed to see? We are supposed to see our own face. But when the mirror has dust, dirt, years of dirt on it, what do you see? Nothing. Sometimes it is so thick, you can't see anything. Sometimes you see a faint something. So what do you have to do? You have to clean it. So how do you clean it? Sankirtanam. Start chanting. All glories to Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life. So the life that we are leading is filled with all kinds of conditions, good, bad, all the dualities. This material world is considered to be Davanala. It's like a forest fire. Dava Anala. Anala means fire. Davanal is a forest fire. We all know how bad forest fires can be, don't we? Just some months ago, remember how Auckland's sky turned brown due to the forest fires in Australia? How scary, how sad was that? So the material existence, our existence is compared to living in a forest fire. Padam padam yadvipadam. Remember, we talked about how at every step there is danger. So that is the second thing that the holy name does. It extinguishes that fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtana movement is the prime benediction of the Supreme Lord. So we'll discuss this in more detail at some other stage, the glories of Nam Sankirtan. We'll actually discuss the Shikshashtakam one day, because it is such a beautiful, beautiful prayer. It's only 8 verses, but so deep in its meaning. It covers everything. In just 8 verses, Krishna's covered everything. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's covered everything relating to devotional life. So here, coming back to this particular verse, Prabhupada makes this point very clear. He says, artificially, sense desires cannot be stopped. But if one is engaged in Krishna consciousness, then automatically sense desires subside without extraneous efforts. So, manorathena dhavati bahihi. So if you're going to be running around here, there, if your mind is going to be running around here, there, the only way to control it is to hook it to the Lord's lotus feet. And then the purport says, therefore one has to engage himself in Krishna consciousness without hesitation, for this devotional service will instantly help one onto the platform of transcendental consciousness. The highly developed soul always remains satisfied in himself by realizing himself as the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord. So this is our identity. So once we realize that we are the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord, Jiver Swarup Hoy, Krishner Nitya Das. Yeah. Once we realize that, the highly developed soul, we become a highly developed soul. So it's very difficult for the soul to actually come over that ignorance that is covering it. It's not easy, because this ignorance we've carried forward for billions and billions of births. God alone knows how many births we've taken. But by the grace of Krishna, by the grace of Vaishnavas, by the grace of Guru, we are now here in this Krishna consciousness path. Somehow or the other, we have come onto this path. So the journey has started. And that means the highly developed soul, we are on that process. We are getting there, we are getting there. And what is the symptom of a highly developed soul? Remains satisfied in himself. He is not going to go running around here, there. Oh, I need to go to this party, otherwise I'll not be happy. Oh, I need to go out and meet my relatives, otherwise I won't be happy. Otherwise they also won't be happy. If they are not happy, I am not happy. So many, we put ourselves into so many situations like this, na? So many if, then, conditional life. Remember, we talked about that? The fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This conditional life is what causes repeated birth and death. So, such a transcendentally situated person has no sense desires resulting from petty materialism. Does that mean he has no desires? What do you think?
desires in Krishna consciousness.
Yes. He has a lot of desires. Sometimes a Krishna conscious person has the biggest desires. I want to build $1 billion temple. छोटा मोटा desire नहीं रहता है. You know, they have the biggest desires. But those desires are all nothing for themselves. It's not about, again, why are you building the temple? Is it because, oh, so and so built the temple? If that is the reason, it's a material desire. If it is because, oh, I want to glorify the Lord, I want to build such a wonderful place for Him. Oh, that is wonderful. So everything, even when we are doing devotional service, I don't know if you remember the 3 modes of material nature. There was the chart that I sent out to everybody. In that, there is actually one where it says you can do bhakti in the 3 modes. Bhakti can be done in Sattva Gun, bhakti can be done in Rajogun, bhakti can be done in Tamas. So everything depends on the consciousness. Okay? So doing it for Krishna, but what is the consciousness behind it? No? So such a transcendently situated person has no desires resulting from petty materialism. Rather, he remains always happy in his natural position of eternally serving the Supreme Lord. Any questions? Then we'll stop here for today. Tomorrow we'll do 56 and we might also do 57 because 56 and 57 kind of go together. So would it be all right with both of you? 56 and 57? Yeah. Okay. So we'll do 56 and 57 tomorrow. And I wanted to let you know, I did send out a message. So on Monday evening, 7 to 8:30, I'm having a little, so it started off as an idea for my Sanskrit class. And then I realized it actually had the potential to help devotees everywhere. So the whole idea is, so you know how in the second chapter itself, we have verses which go, which are in Anushtup Chand, the shlokas, okay? And then we also have Dehinosmen, so that one, and so that is the Anushtup Chand. And then we also have the Trishtup, Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammura chetaha. So it's a different meter altogether. So the whole idea was to have a little session where we talk about. We also want to talk about, how a little appreciation for learning in the Vedic times. Because we all know that all the Vedas, everything was transmitted orally. How did they actually, now when we say, let's say Samaveda, it is not 15 shlokas, 500 shlokas, 1000 shlokas. It is huge. And the whole thing got transmitted because we find written evidence only a few hundred years ago. Actually, just about less than 2000 years ago is when the Vedas started to get written down. Till then, it was transmitted orally, which is why, when you read you just search on the Google for Vedas or something, and it'll say, all scientists say that, these are about 2000 years old or 3000 years old. They are not older than that. Why? Because Written records are found only up to that time. Before that, there are no written records. So one kind of assumes that it's impossible to transmit so much orally, you know. But the whole idea is to also develop an appreciation of the techniques that they used at that time to transmit all this, and to see if we can use some of those techniques in our efforts to learn shlokas as well. And to share that, if anybody has other techniques of learning shlokas as well. And then to give everyone the knowledge of trying to identify the shlokas. So it's not just this. So there are, so when we start, with our Mangalacharan prayers, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam. It follows a pattern. Na? So to identify patterns like that, and then to see, so when you come across other shlokas, which when you look at it, you go, how do I even begin to say this? If we have a few of these shlokas already in our head with these standard patterns, we can say, does this fit this one? Yeah. And so it's a matter of understanding a few standard patterns as well. And in this manner, developing an appreciation of the poetry, actually, in Sanskrit literature. So if you have time, it would be really nice if you can join up as well. Do drop me a line to say you want to join up, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a fresh group. So that, sorry?
Is it every Monday or this Monday?
No. It's just this Monday. It's a 1.5 hour session, a seminar kind of thing. So it's just this Monday. I'm hoping I can finish it in 1.5 hours. If not, we might actually do a second session if there are too many questions and so on, the following Monday. But yeah, so do drop me a line so that I know to include you.
You can take my name right now, no problem.
Okay, Prabhuji, I'll put you down.
Mataji, will you be recording this one?
Yes, I'll definitely be recording
So I
it.
can just watch it later.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll record it and then I'll put it up on YouTube, and this one will be on public domain. So, because there's just going to be a lot of people there. So it'll be on public domain. Because I thought it's good for people to know this, because I have seen a lot of people struggle with various verses. When we do Pushpanjali, so when we do Mangalacharan prayers, for all the other gurus, our parampara gurus and everything, there are so many verses there and people just get so confused. They don't know what meter to use. They don't know how to chant it. They're tripping over themselves. So we'll look at, the aspects of pronunciation. We'll look at the aspects of meter, the aspects of tune. So that's that. Anyway, like I said, I'll be recording it, so no worries. If you can't make it, do try and watch it later. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank you
Hare
very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare